Horse players, the best of racing is always at Los Alamitos, with action-packed racing featured every single night. Trials to the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Winter Derby will headline this Saturday night program. Top sophomores set to race include Rockin' with Energy, the runner-up in the Grade 1 Ed Burke Million, and multiple Futurity finalists Optical Illusion. And don't forget about the big pools at Los Alamitos. The early Pick 4 had a pool of nearly 180,000 last Sunday, while the total pool in the Pick 6 was over 160,000 last Sunday. Our first post on Saturday night follows the final race at Santa Anita. Looking for a great spot to enjoy the live and simulcast racing action? The Vessels Club has a great table just for you. Inside seating and patio tables are available. For reservations, call 714-820-2681. And of course, Burgart Sports Bar is open for every live racing program. The best of racing, always, at Los Alamitos. Remember, the trials to the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Winter Derby headline Saturday's card.
Want to bet your favorite horse but can't make it to the racebook? South Point Casino's Racebook has the answer. Come in and sign up for the Nevada Racebook mobile app. For just a $50 minimum deposit, you'll have the racebook right at your fingertips, no matter where you are in Nevada. It's convenient, fun, and easy to use. When you do have time to visit, South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. Whether you want to come in or play from the comfort of your home, South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. All righty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program for this Wednesday as we ramp up another week covering horse racing, Las Vegas style, right here from the South Point studios at the South Point Hotel Casino here in Las Vegas on the fabulous Strip. We welcome you to the show on this Wednesday morning where we see here in Las Vegas, believe it or not, the sun has peeked through. We've had nothing but cloudy, miserable, damp, rainy weather for the last 3 days here in Las Vegas. But coming in the studio this morning, the sun was rising and the sky was blue. And that's just about the way we're going to have the weather for the next week here in Las Vegas. Right now it's 48 degrees. We're going to get up to a little past 60 today. And our temperatures will be like this, low 40s starting out, and then, of course, we'll creep up to the low 50s and uh, I should say the high 50s and the low 60s for our temperature here in Las Vegas, but it looks like it's going to be pretty clear throughout the week. And, of course, the weather across the country, with all that deep freeze that we had with all of those cancellations in the last week, seems like at least the deep freeze is over and it's starting to warm up across the country. However, there are a series of fronts with rain and some places and snow, etc., that's going to make its way across the country and affect some racing across the country for the rest of the week. But right now, it doesn't look so bad, that's for sure. And, of course, we're looking, of course, to really concentrate the weather in Florida this week, South Florida to be specific, because, of course, it's big Pegasus World Cup week, and, of course, the Eclipse Awards also being presented down there in Florida. It's going to be a big week around Gulfstream Park. The Eclipse Awards are Oscar Awards for horse racing that will happen on Thursday. You can see it on FanDuel TV and a few other streaming outlets like NTRA, DRF, etc. They'll be streaming the presentation, the Eclipse show, the award show. It'll start at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. Want to welcome everybody, no matter how you get us, and we're on so many different platforms, like our websites. We stream there, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas, .world, .global. And, of course, on your devices, your iPhones, your Androids, get the KSHP app, put it on there, and you can hear us now on your phone, and certainly anywhere you get your podcasting as well. And, of course, at the South Point Studio location on YouTube. You go to YouTube, punch in South Point Studio. You get to see and hear us on the South Point Studio network. And while you're there, if you haven't already, subscribe. It's free. Subscribe. We'd appreciate that as well. And not only are we ramping up for the Pegasus World Cup weekend, but we're ramping up, of course, for the NFL Conference Championships, the AFC Championship, the NFC Championship coming up this week. The winners of those two games, of course, will be in the Super Bowl. That will be right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, down the street at Allegiant Stadium. And, of course, that'll be on February 11th. The town is already getting ready. They're just bracing for a Super Bowl weekend. It's going to be a Super Bowl for the people attending and coming here to Las Vegas like it's never been before, and you can start feeling the excitement building up right now. But as far as horse racing is concerned, our excitement is building up for the big weekend in the Pegasus World Cup. Now, we do have a few items to get to you, news items, since we last was broadcasting on Sunday. And, of course, those news items include Medina Spirit. You remember how long ago the winner of the 2020 Kentucky Derby 4 years ago? Medina Spirit, the appeal of his the entire situation there in that race, as far as the 2021 Kentucky Derby, not 2020, 2021 Kentucky Derby. Bob Baffert and his appeal in the Medina Spirit case with Churchill Downs has been dropped. They have dropped that appeal, and so we're wondering if maybe he dropped that appeal with Churchill Downs to see if he can get a little bit of a lift on his ban so far there. We'll get into that in a little bit with Jonathan Ardoon. But the Medina Spirit appeal and Baffert and Zidane, which, of course, are the owners, they have dropped their appeal on the ruling in the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission to disqualify Medina Spirit. So that appeal is over now, and we'll wait and see about that. Now, the 220 winner of the Saudi Cup. You remember the $20 million Saudi Cup, the inaugural running back in 2020, which was won by Maximum Security? You remember that? And then, of course, Maximum Security's trainer, Mr. Jason Service, got all of those suspensions and was banned from racing. Well, the Saudi people held up the $10 million of the $20 million purse that was supposed to go to the owners of Maximum Security until, of course, they ruled. Finally, the ruling came out. Now, remember, that was 2020. 4 years it took. But they officially disqualified Maximum Security from the 2020 Saudi Cup. So that means Midnight Basu, the mare, Midnight Bassu, is now going to receive the $10 million winner's purse of that Saudi Cup, and that happened in 2020. As far as some other news is concerned, we've got the Kentucky Derby Future Book pool finally. The final pool is in now for the Kentucky Derby Future Book, and Fierceness wound up the individual horse favorite at 8-1 for the Kentucky Derby. This is Pool 3 now. It's been closed. And, of course, the All Others is the overall favorite at 2-1, but Fierceness was the individual favorite at 8-1 in that. And so we'll wait and see if he makes the gate. You know, he's owned by Rapoli, and you know what happened last year. I'll just leave it at that. As far as this weekend, Gulfstream Park, of course, is the center of attention on Saturday. They'll have 7 graded stakes races, a 13-race card, a big card coming up with full fields and everything. They're really making it big on Saturday at Gulfstream. I'm sure they'll pay for it before and after that card, but it's going to be a big card on Saturday. 7 stakes races, 2 grade 1s, of course, the World Cup and the World Cup Turf, 2 grade 2s, and 3 grade 3s of the 7 stakes races there. Of course, Aqueduct will have a stakes race, Oaklawn and Turfway Park as well. Santa Anita will have a grade 2 on the docket for Saturday. Sunday light, only Aqueduct and Santa Anita have a stakes race there as well. Now, of course, Monday, this coming Monday, is the deadline for the Bob Baffert trained horses to be transferred to other trainers if they have intentions to gain Kentucky Derby leaderboard points in the prep races and actually run in the Kentucky Derby. That's the cutoff point. And these horses are affected. Nysos, Muth, Maymum, a big winner recently at Santa Anita, Pilot Commander, Coach Prime, and Prince of Monaco. All of these horses have been trained by Baffert. All of these 3-year-olds have had impressive runs so far. But if their ownership intends to run in the Kentucky Derby, got to get out of Baffert's barn by Monday. We'll wait and see. Several of the owners have also backed Baffert in saying they have declared that if Baffert can't go, their horses won't either. So we'll wait and see about that. And, of course, as I say, there's plenty of other action going on. But we're going to get started because we got Jonathan Hardoon standing by. Rich Eng, of course, what a weekend he had. Picked the winner of all 4 of the NFL Divisional Championship games. 4 out of 4. And we're going to get his first peek at the conference championship matchups when he comes on aboard. And, of course, John Linda will be with us talking about the state of racing. There's some unusual things that are happening in racing that we really need to address. That's for sure. And Jerry Jackwitz, of course, he tells me he's got a betting tip for you today, whatever that means. So without any further ado, let's just get started by going to our first break. When we come back, we'll get you your racing menu for today. Guess what? No cancellations so far, anyhow, on the racing menu today. That's I think it's a first in over a week. And then we'll get started with our handicappers. Don't go away. We're just getting started, ramping it up for another week, covering this great sport of kings, Las Vegas style, from the South Point Studios. Don't forget to hit subscribe when you get there. We'll be right back.
Want to bet your favorite horse but can't make it to the race book? South Point Casino's Racebook has the answer. Come in and sign up for the Nevada Racebook mobile app. For just a $50 minimum deposit, you'll have the Racebook right at your fingertips, no matter where you are in Nevada. It's convenient, fun, and easy to use. When you do have time to visit, South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our Racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. Whether you want to come in or play from the comfort of your home, South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Horse players, the best of racing is always at Los Alamitos, with action-packed racing featured every single night. Trials to the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Winter Derby will headline this Saturday night program. Top sophomores set to race include Rockin' with Energy, the runner-up in the Grade 1 Ed Burke Million, and multiple futurity finalists Optical Illusion. And don't forget about the big pools at Los Alamitos. The early Pick 4 had a pool of nearly 180,000 last Sunday, while the total pool in the Pick 6 was over 160,000 last Sunday. Our first post on Saturday night follows the final race at Santa Anita. Looking for a great spot to enjoy the live and simulcast racing action? The Vessels Club has a great table just for you. Inside seating and patio tables are available. For reservations, call 714-820-2681. And of course, Burgart Sports Bar is open for every live racing program. The best of racing, always, at Los Alamitos. Remember, the trials to the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Winter Derby headline Saturday's card.
All right, returning to the Wednesday Race Day Las Vegas radio program, coming to you live here from Las Vegas at the South Point Studios. I want to just clarify one thing. They have recommended the disqualification of maximum security, okay? The administrators of the $20 million Saudi Cup, of course, the richest race in the world, will recommend the disqualification of maximum security for the Colts' 2020 win in the race on charges that his trainer, Jason Service, committed substantial breaches of the rules for the race related to his arrest and conviction on drug misbranding charges in the United States. That was a recommendation, but it's more than likely that they'll go ahead with the recommendation. As far as the weather across the country, like I say, there's a lot of action going on from the Gulf area with the Gulf shore of Texas through South Texas. Louisiana is going to get slammed right through, and then it goes up through the Midwest as far as Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio, and that front is making its way to the East Coast, and there's going to be several fronts going through in the next week, so we'll wait and see about track conditions, but no cancellations to this time. Another storm is brewing over the Northwest that is dumping snow into Oregon and Washington, and a lot of rain, etc., going through the northern and central part of California right now. So we'll wait and see about that. But in the meantime, here's your menu of racetracks available today in the Racebook simulcast centers and racetracks around the country. We remind you, first post times we broadcast on this racing menu each and every day reflect that of the Pacific time zone. So if you're listening here in Las Vegas and you're going to roll out to the Racebook here at the South Point, well, these will be the first post times that roll out in our Racebooks today. We are in the Pacific time zone. But we know that you listen on many different platforms in many different ways that are all across the world. So if you're in another one of those time zones, adjust to the Pacific time zone for this racing menu so you don't miss anything. Like, of course, I miss Mom and Dad, okay? And now we'll get started. We begin our racing menu with Parks Racing. Their first post time is 9:05 at Parks. Pick 6 jackpot carryover. The Pick 5 jackpot carryover. Take the 6 out, put the 5 in. Pick 5 jackpot carryover, $115,879. Parks Racing starts off first post time at 9:05. Then we have Gulfstream Park. It's Pegasus World Cup week at Gulfstream Park. Their Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $594,282. Now, with the carryover that happened on Sunday with no single ticket winner, they guaranteed $700,000. I'm figuring between $700,000 and $750,000 if you happen to be the single ticket winner today at Gulfstream. Their first post time is at 9:10. And then we get to Tampa Bay Downs, the other track in Florida. Tampa Bay Downs has a Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $40,286, but they have a regular Pick 5 carryover, regular Pick 5, of $61,756. Their first post time at Tampa Bay Downs today is at 9:30. And then we'll roll into Mahoning Valley. Mahoning Valley Racecourse has a Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $21,855. Their first post time is 9:45. 9:45 at Mahoning Valley Racecourse. Then we roll right up to 2:55 this afternoon, where Turfway Park will check in. Their Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $51,087 at Turfway Park. Their first post time is 2:55. And then 5 minutes later, Penn National will kick in with their racing card. Now, Penn National has a first post time of 3 p.m. for their racing today at Penn National. 3 p.m. first post time at Penn National. And then we'll have, wrapping it up with Charlestown races. First post time is 4 p.m. at Charlestown. And their pick 6 jackpot carryover there is $5,996. 7 races on the menu. No late cancellations yet. Weather might be a little bit miserable out there, but it's not at least in the deep freezer frozen racetracks, that's for sure. That's the menu for today, Wednesday. I guess it's now time to go out to Mr. Jonathan Hardoon standing by. Jonathan, if I'm correct, you had a winner for us at Gulfstream Park on Sunday when we last talked. That was a nice winner there. That was the horse that we were both talking about how Ired Ortiz rode a horse for a trainer that is an obscure trainer, and the fact that it's not one of his clients. So you and I felt that the trainer of the horse must have gave Ired's agent a real good story about how this horse was ready to pop. And boy, they were right, because if you saw the race, this horse went into the far turn dead last, came out of the far turn wide, and looped the field as everybody else in the field looked like they turned to rock. He got the lead and pulled away for an easy win. 15-1 was an absolute fallacy. That was a fantasy, but it was a nice $10 winner, solid $10 winner there, Jonathan.
Yeah, and it was a 12,000 maiden claimer, which also added intrigue into why he would be riding that horse. Anyway, we got the money, and that's what counted. And we had a second at Fairgrounds on a horse that looked like he was going to win off the screen. He went by and just pulled himself up, and the inside horse came back and got him. But 1 out of 2 is not bad.
Yeah, when you get a horse that's got the lead and then pulls himself up, it kind of, you get the feeling that a lot of horses are like horses that like to travel with other horses. They're herd animals, so to speak. And when they get to the lead, sometimes you kind of get lost and disoriented, and they wait for their buddies to show up again.
Right. That's why a lot of times horses, the rider has to time the move where they hit the lead very close to the wire, so that doesn't happen. But it happened on Sunday. By the way, Ralph, as far as maximum security, they're recommending that they don't. The horse wasn't found with any drugs in him. He passed every drug test. If they're going to go back and do that, well, then they should disqualify all the service horses that won races. You can't take that horse's money away. It makes no sense. The guy could be a bad guy, the trainer, and everything else, but that particular horse on that particular day was as clean as a whistle. How did they go and take away a $10 million purse? Doesn't make much sense.
Jonathan, and if that was in the United States of America with our court system, there'd be filing lawsuits, etc. But that's Saudi Arabia, and they do what they want there.
That's the problem. They make the rules and everything else that goes along with it, but it just doesn't seem fair or right. If the horse tested clean and there was no problem, yes, the trainer's a bad guy and did a lot of things wrong. We get it. But once you pass the test and you're clean, they should pay you.
And what about the ownership? I mean, they get the most of the money, and that's got to be a big hit for them.
Exactly. It just doesn't seem fair. Not only that, the money was tied up for 4 or 5 years already, just sitting there. Who's collecting interest? Who's making the money on this? They are.
Yeah, that carrot that dangles out there for all the international horses, really, in Saudi Arabia to go there and participate in those races is a carrot that is elusive, certainly. And White Barrio, as a matter of fact, is going to pass up the Pegasus World Cup here in the good old United States with the parameters of laws that we have, and go to Saudi Arabia and try to win there. And all I can say is that when you get there, you play by their rules, and their rules is dictatorship, period.
Yeah, and as far as Baffert dropping the lawsuit, I think he was trying to extend an olive branch maybe to Churchill that they should back off and stop with the ridiculous moving the goalposts and keep extending the penalty. That just doesn't seem right. They got 5 days now. They have to move those horses by the 29th of January. Doesn't make sense. Listen, some of the owners that Baffert has, like the Zandon or whatever, they're multi-zillionaires. They should make a race on Derby Day for $50 million. You want to screw with Churchill? Go ahead. Screw with Baffert and see what happens. That's what they should do. Let's see how many horses opt for the $50 million race as opposed to going to the Derby.
Well, if you wanted to go that far, you make the takeout in the pari-mutuel pool for that 5%, and you have free parking, free entries, and free seating. How about that?
Yeah, well, exactly. But I'm talking about getting the horses that are going to be giving up the most prestigious race to go run for a crazy amount of money. It just go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so Baffert's got Medina Spirit that got disqualified. You had Justify a few years Justify, I think it was after Medina Spirit, right? I think it was.
Yeah.
Anyhow, he was in question because of the Santa Anita Derby win and the drug thing there, but they left Justify as the official winner of the Kentucky Derby. That was a good thing. So Baffert's had his moments with Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Racing Commission.
Well, obviously they've had enough, and they're tired of what they think are his games, and he thinks he's smarter than the rest of the world. That's the attitude they're taking. And, they're going to play ball now, and let's see what happens. Again, he dropped the lawsuit, the appeal, I should say. So I guess he's trying to extend an olive branch, but who knows?
Well, what do you think? Do you think any of the horses that I mentioned that are kind of the horses that are right now prominent in the 3-year-old group of horses that Baffert's training, do you think any of the owners are going to find Mr. Yachtine again?
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to send them right down the road to Yachtine. You'll have some of them, and then you'll have a handful that just will boycott the whole system. But, who are they really hurting by doing this?
Yeah, no question about that. We got a big day of racing coming up at Gulfstream Park, the Pegasus World Cup, $1 million races there. Year by year, they add another one to it. We have 3 of them now. We got the Pegasus World Cup, the original one, that at one time was a lot more than the purse is now. Then you got the Pegasus World Cup Turf, and now you got the Pegasus World Cup Filly Mare Turf. And I guess maybe down the road they'll add more divisions as well. But the Pegasus World Cup is going to be a hell of a card there. I understand 13 races, and they've got a lot of full fields there, Jonathan.
Yeah, and it'll cost you about $200 to get in if you want to spend the day at Gulfstream, which is also a little crazy.
Did I not hear? I thought I heard $250 to get in, or $250 for a seat or whatever. It was like ridiculous, the amount of money. It was $200 or more. That's for sure. That's crazy.
Parking. They get like another $80 for parking. I was there last year, I think, or the year before, but I had credentials to go in because we had a horse running. But it's crazy. They outprice themselves. I mean, days like this, they should want as many people as possible to come into the track. First of all, to begin with, Gulfstream is not built to handle a big crowd. They are full of malls and shopping centers and everything else. It's not race friendly for fans. It really isn't. It's very uncomfortable to sit and gamble there. Unless you get a table in the restaurant, and there's only so many tables in the restaurant, you're really up against it. There's no way to be comfortable gambling there. Not for real gamblers. They're better off sitting home and betting from your office or your computer or whatever.
Well, duly noted. That's for sure.
You want people, go to the horse book. You're better off. You have a table, a desk, you could sit and be comfortable. Days like that, you want people there. You don't want to chase people away, and by charging them $250 to get in and $80 to park, well, you right away eliminated a lot of your customer base.
That's correct. That's for sure. But the nice thing is maybe they ought to put a loan officer at the start, at the gate. So if you want to take a loan to get in, they can approve you right there anyhow. But in any case, all kidding aside, folks, any case, it's going to be a great day of racing. And you're right, as far as the accommodations for players. There's no accommodations, I think, for players anywhere in the world like it is here in Las Vegas. Here in the South Point, you park your car for free. You walk in, you sit down for free. And if you're a player, if you're a good player, they'll afford you the racing forms like for $1 or whatever. And so the first real money that you're taking out of your pocket is to put into action for betting on the races. And big screen TVs and everything else, comfortable surroundings, friends around you. I mean, what more do you want? And the hot dog stand here is amazing. And so is the deli and all the other amenities that go with it if you want to eat and drink during the races. It's great.
But the best part of the South Point, and I'm not plugging them because we're using their studios, is that the horse room and the sports room are separate.
Yeah.
And nothing annoys a horse player more than hearing screaming. Not everyone's betting sports and betting football games. You're trying to concentrate, and everybody's screaming for every first down and every great play. But at the South Point, it's separate horse room from the sports, and it's just better for everybody involved.
Yeah, they're close enough together that if a sports fan wants to make a bet on a horse race or vice versa, a couple of steps away and you're there. As a matter of fact, the famous hot dog stand is right between the two, and that's always a popular place, that's for sure. Jonathan, looking at the Pegasus World Cup field, outside of White, a Barrio deciding to go into the Saudi Cup, as we were talking about earlier. Pretty good field of handicap horses left to go in that race?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I didn't start to work on it yet. I guess I'll be doing that tomorrow. But as of now, it looks good. And you got big fields and full field size. I wonder if Gulfstream is going to make a mandatory payout in their pick six on Saturday. Actually, if they were smart, they would probably wait till Sunday.
Sure they
because
will, yeah.
Saturday doesn't need any more help than they're getting. So if they were smart, they would probably make that mandatory payout on Sunday, the day after.
The usual MO for Gulfstream Park on big days like that is to make the mandatory the day after on Sunday. We'll wait and see. We'll check on that, that's for sure. But in any case, no matter what happens, it's going to be a great day of racing. And hopefully the weather, that's the key thing, the weather right now, because, you know, they're getting those fronts going through, and there's a lot of rain going through the southern part, the southeastern part of the country. Now, of course, Florida, of course, has that, you know, it's got that long shoreline, and if it may not hit as far south as the southern part of Florida, we'll wait and see. Let's just hope the weatherman and the gambling gods are racing fans. That's for sure. In any case, go ahead.
Ralph, they're calling for good weather, so that's good. You know, there is no rain in sight, but again, it's Florida, so obviously it could rain at any time. But for the most part, they're expecting beautiful weather.
Fantastic. All right. Well, listen, we got to start building our Pegasus World Cup bankroll, and we're gonna take that $10 that you got there from the win on Saturday, and get a couple of winners from you today. Where are we going first?
All right, we have one at Tampa and one at Gulf.
Whoa! You got to take your papers away from the microphone because it's just screaming through the here. You got to do that, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
okay.
It's not so much for me, but the crew back here is screeching, and I know if they've got those faces going on, everybody else listening out there's got it too. So, okay, where are we going first?
Okay, let's go to Gulfstream. Look at race 7, 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta, and I like the number 12 horse in here, Chena. Chena's a 4-year-old filly from the Enil Cordero barn, and guess who's riding? Irad Ortiz takes the mount for this low-profile barn. She draws a good outside box. There's a ton of early speed to set things up for her here. Number 12, Chena, 5-1 on the morning line, wins today's 7th race out at Gulfstream.
All right, the 7th race at Gulfstream. Your selection there is the 12-horse Chena, Florida bred. 5-1 on the morning line. You think, well, we might get close to the 5-1. You don't know.
Full field, 12 horses go.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, so we got the 12 in the 7th race at Gulfstream, and now I guess you got to play at Tampa, right?
I do, and there is a pick 5 carryover in a late pick 5. So let's give everybody some help in the 9th and final and give out a nice price play here. I love the number 5 horse in here, Ready to Fly. This is a 6-year-old gelding from the Pat McBurney barn. Samuel Marin aboard to ride. He's listed at 8-1 on the morning line. He's run well at Tampa in the past 2/3 out of 3 starts there. Gets to go an extra 1/8 of a mile today. He's listed at 8-1 on the morning line. Number 5, Ready to Fly, wins today's 9th and final out at Tampa Bay Downs.
All right, Tampa Bay, a 9th race, the 5, Ready to Fly. We hope he does just the same. Ready to Fly, of course, in the 9th race at Tampa Bay. 7th race, Gulfstream, the 12. 9th race at Tampa Bay, the 5. We're going to parlay some of that $10 parimutuel win on Sunday right into that and start building a bankroll for the weekend because we got a great Pegasus day of racing at Gulfstream Park. Oh, and of course, a couple of NFL games that we can illegally play here,
Could play them legally here also.
Yeah, okay. That's for sure.
Where can you play them legally anymore?
And our handicapper, of course, Jonathan, Rich Eng was 4 for 4, swept the card in the NFL last week.
He's been doing terrific.
He has.
Let him keep up the great work.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jonathan. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And by the weekend, you'll have some thoughts about actually who you like in those Pegasus World Cup races.
By Friday, no problem.
All right. You got it, my man.
Stay safe and be well.
All right. You too, Jonathan. That's for sure. Okay. Enough for Jonathan. Now, next comes Rich Eng, who we're going to put on the pedestal here. He's perfect as far as the NFL playoffs are concerned, at least from last week to this week. But let's see if it gets tougher for the two games to be represent the winners in the Super Bowl. We'll wait and see. Richie is next. Don't go away.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Want to bet your favorite horse but can't make it to the racebook? South Point Casino's Racebook has the answer. Come in and sign up for the Nevada Racebook mobile app. For just a $50 minimum deposit, you'll have the Racebook right at your fingertips, no matter where you are in Nevada. It's convenient, fun, and easy to use. When you do have time to visit, South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our Racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. Whether you want to come in or play from the comfort of your home, South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Time to get a little pigskin action in, and our man is hitting 1,000% right now. Rich Eng had predicted the winners of all four of the NFL divisional games last weekend with the point spreads as you bet. So let's bring in the man right now, Rich Eng. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. I hope you and me and some of the listeners out there made some money, whether you bet straight, you bet parlays, you bet teasers. They all came in using the four selections, so it was a good weekend.
Oh, I did the parlays. I did just the parlays, and yes, it was a very good weekend, that's for sure. But now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. The AFC Championship will be held. Both games will be held on Sunday. AFC Championship is going to be the first one, kicking off at noon on CBS, Pacific time, of course, featuring the Kansas City Chiefs visiting the Baltimore Ravens. The second game, the NFC Championship, will kick off at 3:30 Pacific time on the Fox network, featuring the Detroit Lions at the San Francisco 49ers. Opening numbers, the Ravens 3.5 favorite, over under total 46. Opening number, San Francisco -7, and the opening over under 51.5. And I know that it's maybe a little bit early for betting, but any changes?
Well, the Ravens number is 4 in most places now. There's a lot of Baltimore money showing up, and the other game with San Francisco and the Lions is a strong 7. But some of the money splits, Ralph, show more action on Baltimore and on San Francisco as far as the handle.
So everybody's betting the favorites to get to the Super Bowl, and if San Francisco and the Ravens, win their games, then the old Super Bowl logo colors come into play for predicting who's going to be in the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, it's actually not that often that the number one seeds from both the AFC and the NFC get through the gauntlet of games, but they would be number one versus number one, which would be a fantastic game should they win.
Well, let's, first blush, I don't think Kansas City is going to have its way with Baltimore as it did with Buffalo, because as you noted, the Buffalo secondary was really beat up when they played, even at home, but when they played against Kansas City, and it showed up late in the game.
Yeah, if I could just make like a Chris Berman real quick capsule of each one of the games.
Go ahead.
We'll move forward, but the Texans-Ravens game, the Ravens blew out the Texans 34-10, and if you take away that one punt return by the Texan kid, they only scored 3 points against the Ravens defense. So the Ravens defense came to play. The second game on Saturday was the Packers and the 49ers. The 49ers, quite frankly, did not play a good football game. Brock Purdy did not play a good football game, but they put it together in that last drive where they drove the length of the field and scored, and then they held off Jordan Love. But that was a tough game for the 49ers. It was their B game, so we'll see if they come with their A game this week. The Buccaneers and the Lions, I thought the Lions were, quite frankly, going to trash the Buccaneers. They did win and cover, but the Buccaneers gave them all they could handle. A great game by Jared Goff, and the fans in Detroit really deserve that win. The final game on Sunday was the Chiefs and the Bills. The comment I want to make here, Ralph, is, the normal NFL football game, each team has roughly 60 plays. If the time of possession is about 30 minutes each, Buffalo played a near-perfect game and still lost because they ran almost 80 plays versus 45 for the Chiefs. That's the best way to try to beat a Patrick Mahomes or a Tom Brady. Keep them on the sidelines. The Bills did that and still couldn't win the game.
Yeah, because I think there was a big adjustment at halftime as far as Kansas City's defense was concerned, because Buffalo was running all over them in the first half, but they shored it up in the second half, and then you had to go to Allen and his antics, and certainly he tried hard, that's for sure. And you gotta really feel really bad for the kicker for Buffalo not getting them into overtime.
Yeah, you know what? They're heaping too much blame on the kid Bass for missing that kick. The field conditions with the wind and the cold and everything. That was a tough kick from 47 yards. But I really blame the Bills and their offense because they had the ball, they were moving it, and instead of keep matriculating down the field and at least get closer for a field goal, Allen missed a couple of long passes when they would have been much better off throwing short to intermediate passes and just keep moving the chains.
Yeah, keep getting to the line of the line to get the first down. That's for sure. But that is then. This is now, and we have really great coaches as well for all four of the teams on the weekend. And so I guess the public is leaning towards the favorites, but we'll have to wait and see what you lean towards as the week goes on. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And, one stat that keeps getting harped on over and over again in the AFC game between the Chiefs and the Ravens is the fact that Patrick Mahomes, as a Kansas City Chief, has been an underdog only like 10 times in his career. He has a 9-1 record against the spread. So a lot of people are going to love the Chiefs off of a statistic like that.
Well, we'll keep an eye on what's going on and certainly get your predictions and your selections before the games kick off on Sunday. And, of course, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks, Ralphie. Good luck, everybody.
All righty. When we come back to racing, John Lindo standing by. And, of course, we still have Jerry Jackowitz that told me he's going to help you with some betting tips. We all need that, I guess. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Horse players, the best of racing is always at Los Alamitos, with action-packed racing featured every single night. Trials to the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Winter Derby will headline this Saturday night program. Top sophomores set to race include Rockin' with Energy, the runner-up in the Grade 1 Ed Burke Million, and multiple Futurity finalists Optical Illusion. And don't forget about the big pools at Los Alamitos. The early Pick 4 had a pool of nearly 180,000 last Sunday. while the total pool in the Pick Six was over 160,000 last Sunday. Our first post on Saturday night follows the final race at Santa Anita. Looking for a great spot to enjoy the live and simulcast racing action? The Vessels Club has a great table just for you. Inside seating and patio tables are available. For reservations, call 714-820-2681. And of course, Burgart Sports Bar is open for every live racing program. The best of racing, always, at Los Alamitos. Remember, the trials to the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Winter Derby headline Saturday's card.
Want to bet your favorite horse but can't make it to the race book? South Point Casino's Racebook has the answer. Come in and sign up for the Nevada Racebook mobile app. For just a $50 minimum deposit, you'll have the Racebook right at your fingertips, no matter where you are in Nevada. It's convenient, fun, and easy to use. When you do have time to visit, South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our Racebook is completely separate from the Sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. Whether you want to come in or play from the comfort of your home, South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
The Race Day Las Vegas Show, the only exclusive daily local media racing information source in Las Vegas.
All right, wrapping up this Wednesday Race Day Las Vegas show with our closing act, and of course that's John and Jerry. Now we go out to John Lindo standing by. John, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Hey, the sun is actually shining this morning here in Las Vegas. How about that?
I know we had a lot of rain here on Monday, and glad to get through all that. We're supposed to be warm through the week, so we should be good this weekend at Santa Anita.
Yeah, we are also getting out from 2 days of constant rain, that's for sure. Of course, the same front that went through where you're at. And, of course, if we get great weather in Southern California, if the weather holds up in South Florida, it's going to be a hell of a day with the coast-to-coast Pick 5 and all that great racing at the Pegasus World Cup Day at Gulfstream.
Yeah, I think right now the forecast at Gulfstream is low 80s and very minimal chance of rain, and we're going to be in the 70s in Southern California. So we should be good to go, and it'll be a fun weekend.
Well, I got to tell you, great racing cards and beautiful weather should get the people out, that's for sure. We know that the state of racing right now is going through some trying times, and we know that Southern California, they say at Santa Anita, they overpaid the purse monies to the horsemen by, I don't know, a couple of $1 million, right?
$4 million
Wow,
they're chasing, and the deficit's getting bigger right now.
Is anybody getting together and because, I mean, you're heading right towards a brick wall with this stuff. I mean, somebody's got to make some decisions and changes for the health of the game.
Well, I think last week was the first time they publicly acknowledged what the deficit was. So now that it's out there in the public's eye, what they're eyeballing, Ralph, is the Santa Anita meet's cut into two. It have the winter meet, which goes through basically the Santa Anita Derby in April, and then the spring meet, which goes until the end of the meet itself in the middle of June. So at this point, we're looking at some pretty, I would say substantial purse cuts for the spring meet, the spring portion.
Yeah.
And we'll see how we get there, what happens if there's something that has to be done before that. But at least it's out in the public now. We know about it, and what are they going to do about it? Now we get to see.
And not just to be in balance here, it's not the most popular Southern California meet. Del Mar also overpaid, right?
Right. Del Mar's overdrawn about $2 million, so there will probably be some purse cuts. We haven't had any announcements yet what the purses will be at Del Mar this summer. I would expect a small reduction in purses down there. I understand that they still want to do the ship and win program, which has been so popular in bringing the horses out here. But I don't know whether the funds are all there. Well, again, as they lay everything out, we'll let you guys know. But I still think the ship and win program is on for Del Mar this summer.
And, of course, I will ask you one more question as we wrap up State of the Racing in a thumbnail right now, and that is, of course, the tweet that was out there, or on X, the message on X that was out there from Rapoli and Mike Rapoli, and it was didn't hold back.
Well, Mike's he's not gonna filter his opinions, and he'll fire stuff out there to get everybody shook up. And he's not wrong on a lot of this stuff, but his opinions are strong. But it's one thing to fire out opinions, Ralph, but you have to have solutions as well. It's easy to do the Monday morning quarterback stuff.
Sure.
It's hard to be proactive and tackle it head on.
I think they got to get everybody in a place and lock them in there until they figure it out. That's for sure. But it's reflective of what's going on with our government as well. I guess it's just something that's happened nowadays. That's for sure. John, we got a big week ahead of us. Lindo report for this week?
I'll do Gulfstream Park tomorrow. We're back to Santa Anita on Friday. Saturday with the Pegasus card, we'll do both a Gulfstream and a Santa Anita sheet, the Lindo report. And then we'll go back to Sunday at Santa Anita. So both tracks getting covered this week for the Lindo report at the South Point.
And suggested coast-to-coast pick fives on both Saturday and Sunday on the Lindo report, right?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, John, enjoy the sunshine while it lasts, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
You got it, Ralph. Good luck today.
All right. Now we're going right to Jerry Jackowitz standing by. Now, Jerry, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph.
All right, Jerry, I understand that you wanted to talk about some betting tip, and I guess it's how to proceed with wagering on a key horse.
Well, no, actually, what I wanted to do is talk about how you get to a key horse.
Okay.
That was what I would do today. And we have, about 2.5 minutes, so let's get right on it. Basically, the first thing you want to do when you're presented with a card of horses to decide who you're going to bet on or not is you want to poke holes in the favorites. It's usually the most attractive horse, have the most going on in its form that makes you think it could win. And they're usually labeled, 8-5, 2-1. It's fairly easy to find out who the favorites are in the race. And you take the 2 or 3 favorites of every race, and the first thing you do is you try and poke holes in their form. You try to find reasons for them not to win. You have to remember the favorite, even at 2-1, only comes in first or second about 50% of the time, maybe slightly over, maybe it's 53% of the time. They win about 32, 33, 34% of the time. They come in second another 20% of the time. And so they're devalued, basically. You can't really break even on them even. You probably have to lose. We did study at one time, if you bet every favorite, you lose 10 cents on the dollar. It's like a bad slot machine, the favorite. And but they get into the mix. They fill out exactas, so they're very useful in a different kind of a way. So the idea is not to bet the favorite, it's to bet something else that has a chance. The next thing you want to do is you want to look at horses that look kind of reasonable, like they have an opportunity, and really find qualities you like, something that you can hang your hat on. You say, well, this horse is been freshened, so his last 2 races maybe aren't that significant. Let's look back in his form a little bit, see if he's got back class or back power. And then the third group of horses, which are the lineouts, the horses that you automatically throw out, you actually should go through each one of them and kind of make an imaginative, I do this with my V horses, an imaginative reason why this horse could suddenly have a total reversal in form, and this throwout could be first or second. But you have to go through this discipline on every single race. And obviously what happens is there's a lot of races you're going to be confused. You're not going to feel like you have anything strong, any hook to bet on, because you're not going to bet the favorites anymore. They're just going to stop doing that. And when you find one of these horses that hooks you, then you right away have a bet. And it's very easy to make the bet because you can see the value and you have a sense of the horse has a chance to win. You're not saying he's an automatic winner. And there's something you like about him. And then you can kind of pull the bet together very easily. You start by making an exacta with the favorite. You bring in some long shots. You get a good win place bet type going. And it's fairly easy to make your exacta and build your key around the horse that sort of appeals to you and has the price. And I call that a pop-out key. I find the horse that appeals to me or has something that appeals to me.
Jerry, You got
p.m.
you got to wrap it. You got to wrap it up, Jerry, because we've done.
Nothing more to say.
But nothing more to say.
Let's wrap it up.
Value,
That's
right?
it.
Go for value, right? All right, you got it, my
baby.
man. Now listen, you know as well as I do. When we get to the end of the show, you got one more thing to say. So say it.
Have a great race day, everybody.